This episode of the Feelings Over Facts podcast is sponsored today by our YouTube channel. Head over to YouTube and subscribe to us at the Feelings Over Facts podcast. Give us a like and a subscribe. And thank you. Welcome to the Feelings Over Facts podcast. I'm your host, Zach Simmons. Here with co-host Daniel Jones, a.k.a. DJ. DJ, how are you feeling?
Feeling good, brother. Feeling good. In the flesh today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're back again. Episode 21. Coming in with a fire episode. Hey, DJ, how about that Titans Colts game?
Let's not talk about it.
It's pretty great, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. For multiple reasons. One, my fantasy team got ravaged by injury and I pretty much got beat because Anthony Richardson didn't play the entire game. Two, on a just mental psyche note, it was not good. Didn't do good for the brain.
Hey, it happens. You know, it happens every once in a while. The team loses, the fantasy team loses. It's not a good time, but hey, you know, that's why there's always next week, you know?
Yeah, solid 0-5 start in our fantasy league.
Hey, it's only up from here, though, if you think about it.
I'm tanking for Caleb Williams since it's a dynasty league.
If that's your move, you're heading in the right direction. But thank you for joining us once again. We are live over on YouTube. The YouTube chat is lit. This is our first episode. We're streaming live on YouTube. So we'll see how my Wi-Fi handles it. Maybe a little bit grainy on there. I'm not sure. We'll check it out afterwards, see how it went. I see we got some people in the chat. I'm seeing Jashad. I'm seeing Eric, Josh, Jake, and Mike all in the chat. What's up, guys? So, Jashad says it couldn't be his teams that are 0-5. So, I think that was a shot at you.
Such big words from a little man.
All right. So, if you are in the YouTube chat, be sure to hit the subscribe button to catch future content we have dropping. DJ, I'm going to talk about what missed the show today. Dylan Brooks ejected from his first ever game with the Rocket, a preseason game. It's pretty tough to get ejected in a preseason game. Actually, that doesn't happen often, but Dylan Brooks found a way. Mark Stoops, head coach at Kentucky, tells the media that Kentucky couldn't compete with Georgia in their 51-13 loss because Georgia has bought some pretty good players. So, kind of talking a little bit about the NIL money nowadays. And lastly, NFL players continue to plea for all of the fields to be grass fields as the injuries in the NFL start to stack up. So that is what missed the show today. So,
but not anymore because we just covered it.
Exactly. You know, I just wanted to give a little segment up at the top to tell the kind of the stuff in the sports world that's happening that isn't really interesting enough to have a full-length conversation about. So there we go. All right, DJ. And if there's anybody in the YouTube chat that wants to drop any questions or comments, we'll be sure to address those at some point. But DJ, since our last episode, a lot of stuff happened. The big talk of the week is the 49ers put a shellacking on the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. DJ, first off, what was your take from that game? What did you think about it? And do you think that the 49ers have a real chance, as the media is hyping them all up right now, do you think they have a real chance to go undefeated this regular season?
I don't think they go undefeated, but I do think they have one of the better records in the NFL. I think if you look at how they have, come together this year, you'd be kind of dumb not to think that as of right now. Just they're one of the better teams in the NFL all together. Construction, like roster construction wise, coaching, it's just all kind of coming together for them. For me personally, though, I don't see them going undefeated. I think they'll slip up a couple of times, maybe one or two, maybe a 3-loss team, and that's still easily enough to get the number 1 seed in the NFC.
100%. I mean, looking at the rest of their schedule, they're going to be favored in every single game. So if they do lose, it's going to have to be an upset because they are they're looking amazing right now at the current moment. And I don't really see anyone derailing them. Now, do I think that anyone Jake said check trades to Eric in the chat. Do I think anyone is better than them right now? Definitely not. I think that if you're looking around the power rankings and the NFL, everyone's posting their midweek power rankings I was seeing on Twitter, and the 49ers were at the top of every single list. And I think rightfully so. They've looked absolutely fantastic. And I think that the NFC certainly goes through the 49ers. And I mean, I'll say it. I think that they have a real chance, DJ, at going undefeated. I think that they have a real chance at it because they are dismantling teams. They're dismantling good teams. We had our podcast last week, and I said Dallas was one of my Super Bowl contenders, and the 49ers just dumpstered them. So, I mean, it's going to take something wild for them to lose, but we'll have to see. So that kind of segues a little bit into my next question, which is currently in the media. The big story right now is Brock Purdy and him being the last pick of the draft and him doing as well as he has been doing. He's probably, I would say, might be the biggest story in sports right now is him and this run that he's been on, not losing a game that he's finished, being the last pick of the draft. It's pretty incredible stuff. And I kind of wanted to hear your take on, do you believe all of this hype? And then once you finish, I have a little bit of an analogy that I think will really drive home my point on Brock Purdy.
Well, I think that it's a great story. I think I'd say it's probably the second best story behind Taylor Swift, Kelsey, if you want my honest opinion.
Yeah, that might be the biggest story.
Because that's what we're at in this simulation that we call life at the moment. It's a great story. You can't. It seems like if you took this script to Hollywood, it doesn't seem like it'd be a real thing. You'd feel, or it doesn't feel like it's real life. It'd be more of a movie. Is what I'm trying to say. It feels like this is scripted up. Last pick in the draft. That you don't think he has a chance, and then he comes and helps him win the Super Bowl, and becomes a Hall of Fame player, and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Not to discredit how he hasn't. I mean, he's been playing great. He makes great decisions. I think for me that sometimes being in college for your full 4 years and then having some time to develop on the bench actually kind of helps. I think that shows that some players don't figure it out right away, and maybe maybe you just need that time to marinate. And then also it shows that fit is everything. You have to go to the right team. You got to go right to coach. You can get messed up by coaches and their system not working or being a bum, which happens way more often than it seems. For me personally, though, I like Brock, but I don't see it working. All right, let's say this. Once they have to pay him, their roster is going to go down a little bit because of the fact that they've been able to not have to pay a big time contract to a quarterback. Their roster has flourished because of that, because they keep hitting on these really good players. But what happens when you do have to pay your quarterback? Because as of right now, they're going to have to pay Brock Purdy.
Very true. I mean, he's currently being paid under $1 million a year. which for an NFL quarterback is an absolute bargain, especially as well as he's doing and as successful as their team is doing.
True. Also, apparently, according to Jake in the chat, his brother-in-law played at Iowa State, and apparently Brock Purdy's a great guy. So on top of that, it's happening to a good dude.
Well, you love to see that.
You do.
You love to see good things happen.
The human interest story just keeps getting better.
It does. That's true. Well, hearing that makes it even harder for me to say what I'm about to say. And I know that everyone's hyping up Brock Purdy in the media, but I think that everyone should maybe take a little bit of a step back. And here's why, DJ. I'm going to illustrate this point with a fantastic analogy. So say our podcast was a top 5 podcast in America. Say we were like one of the top 5 podcasts. Like we had a fantastic team. We had like top producers, top like writers, all of that. We're a top 5 podcast. And say that you want to go and start your own podcast. So you peace out, go start your own podcast, and you're replaced by some random guy. Let's call him Schmuck Schmurdy for lack of a better name. So you're replaced with Schmuck Schmurdy. And you go off and you start your own podcast. I stay here and continue doing my own thing. And your podcast is terrible, completely flames out. Nobody listens to it. Nobody watches it. But this podcast, with the great team and great, squad that we've got going here, continues to flourish and continues getting better. And then everyone in the media comes out and says, this guy Schmuck, I think he's the greatest podcaster in the world. I think he's the next Joe Rogan. It's like, no, it was already successful before you came in. That's what people are doing with Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo pieced off to the Las Vegas Raiders, and he's been absolutely terrible. And his stats will show you that. And Brock Purdy was put right in, and they've been just as good. I mean, they were winning games before he got there. They had multiple 10-plus win seasons, made it to the Super Bowl, multiple conference championships. And people in the media are hyping up Brock Purdy like he's doing something absolutely incredible and uncalled for. Whereas he's doing exactly what I just illustrated in that analogy. What are your thoughts on that, DJ? That's why I say I do not think that all this media hype for him is warranted.
What a roller coaster ride of that was there, man. Thanks for putting us on that.
Yeah.
Are you trying to replace me? I see how it is.
That's the analogy. You're irreplaceable.
Oh, having a little bromance on YouTube. Anyway, I guess. I mean, yeah, the system works in San Francisco. They probably should have already won a Super Bowl if Jimmy G can hit Emmanuel Sanders on a deep pass. That's about it. Shots is terrible analogy, and I don't disagree.
I thought it was pretty on point. I don't know. We'll post it to the shorts reels and Instagram reels, TikTok. See what the world thinks of that. I thought it was pretty on point. So segueing right along, DJ, in that same vein that the 49ers destroyed the Cowboys, are you ready to give up on the Cowboys? Like plain and simple. After seeing that game, I know you didn't say they were a Super Bowl contender before like I did, but are you ready to say that they're done?
I think that question is more directed at you, because for me, this is exactly where I had the Cowboys at. This is who they are. We are who they thought we are. They are who I thought they were. That's what it is. Because I could have told you this was going to happen at some point, and then the sky is falling for Cowboy Nation, and then in a month's time they'll be like, "Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl again." It's the way that the Cowboys fan works, and it's how they roll. And I expect nothing different, to be honest with you. They are.
I mean, you did call it. I mean,
it's Dak. I'm telling you, man. Like, I just
you
don't
did say
trust
last
Dak.
week that you didn't trust him because Dak, and then he comes out here and he throws 3 interceptions, and they look like absolute garbage.
If you want my honest opinion, there's 2 big things that are holding this team back, and it's Dak Prescott and it's Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
And those are the 2 most important things that you need to have happen, or that need to be working in the cohesive group and not being turning the ball over, not having bad play calling for it to work. Like, their defense is, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say their defense played great either, but like the 49ers are one of the better offensive units in the league for a reason, in all honesty. So like you're not gonna pitch shutouts every game. It's impossible in the NFL. But like, I don't think this defense is generational, but I still think they're one of the better defenses in the league now, especially how defense is played in the NFL nowadays, where it's all, pushed towards the offensive side of the ball, and basically you can't play defense. So the fact that they've done what they've done, I don't. It's impressive, but like this, you had to see this coming at some point.
Yeah, that's true, and you did. You called it last week. You said Dak was not quality enough to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and he really showed it against the 49ers. The gap between those 2 teams looked vast this past Sunday night. They looked like a head and shoulders better coach team, better roster. Brock Purdy looked like the better quarterback. So I'm not ready to completely give up on the Cowboys because I think that these ebbs and flows of the NFL season happen, but I certainly think that this 49ers mountain that they are going to have to climb is looking like it is an impossible task for them as they continue to lose to them. This is now 3 times in a row that they've lost to them going through if you count the playoff games and regular season. They just cannot get past San Francisco. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, Mike said not at all, not Jerry Jones' fault at all. I don't think they'll ever win a Super Bowl as long as Jerry Jones is still alive, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, well, he likes to talk for sure.
That guy is a guy that probably should have won. He's won 3 Super Bowls under his control. That probably should have won 5 or 6 if he just would have let Jimmy Johnson do his thing. Honestly, if you want those teams were insane in the 90s, and they probably should have kept winning more and more. Maybe not all consecutively like they did, with those 3 Super Bowls, but like the looking, it's like you look back. Look at that team, that like all the all pros, all the Hall of Famers, and the fact that they Jerry has kind of gotten in his own way, as you could say, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he needs to step away from being from any kind of general manager type role that he's just a diva. Like if they have any kind of success, he wants it to be because of him. He does not want any spotlight anywhere else. Jashad in the chat saying Cowboys are pretenders, not contenders, and I'm starting to lean towards that direction. I'm not giving up on them yet. I still think that they still have a chance with the roster that they have, but it's looking less and less.
I also don't disagree.
Pretenders
In the chat either, saying that they have to go to certain places that are tough to play at. Seattle is a tough place to play. They have to play the Eagles. They do play the Eagles, right? If that's the case, I don't have their roster, their schedule.
The Cowboys?
Oh, well, of course, the Cowboys, the 49ers.
Oh,
come on now.
Yes, they do.
So, like, I agree with both of them. They Shad said that. Of course, he's a big old Homer Eagles fan. So, what else do you expect from somebody like that? But I agree with them completely. Like, there's a reason why there's only been 1 team that's gone undefeated and won a Super Bowl, and it hasn't happened since. We've only gotten close in our lifetime once, and they lost it at the last game of the season, which was the Super Bowl. So, like, it is one of the tougher things to do. It's the NFL. Any given Sunday, anybody could beat anybody. I mean, it can happen, and it will happen. I completely expect that to happen.
Totally. Me as well. Except I do think they do have a slight chance to go undefeated. I think that the chance is there.
Out of all the teams, it's either going to be them or Philly.
Not Philly. I think Philly, if you've looked at their schedule in the next
hold on.
5 weeks.
I did not say that they're going undefeated. I said that the best chance. best chance.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying.
fair.
I'm not calling it like this is like this is not a hot take. This is just saying like best chance of two teams.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you for sure. I mean, they're the only two undefeated teams, so they are the two with the chance.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
I think your video may have dropped, DJ, but I still hear you. So,
all right,
we'll keep going. Maybe your video will come back. Not sure what's going on with that. Might want to disconnect your phone or something from the Wi-Fi. But hey, live streaming. We're doing this live. These are the type of things that happens, you know? All right. Ready to move on?
I am.
Let's do it. Moving on from football to football. We will so in this past weekend, DJ, are you still with me?
I'm here.
All right, cool. In this past weekend, we saw the two best, in my opinion, the two best teams in the NFL, or the EPL, face off with Arsenal, your squad, and Manchester City. Oh, there's your video. You're back. We saw Arsenal finally get over the hump of Manchester City. They finally were able to beat them. So I wanted to kind of pose this question, DJ. Do you think this could finally be Arsenal's year? Your unbiased opinion.
Unbiased opinion. I think it's a good chance that we have to do it. That was a huge hurdle to get past, but I think that there's some. It's not like last year where it was just really the two of City and Arsenal. I think it's a multi-horse race now at this point, and I think you have to take Spurs as a legitimate threat with Postecoglou's system that he's running right now. Spurs look very dangerous, and I mean, Liverpool are still Liverpool. It's too early to really define who's a front runner as of right now, and then the table's still close. But I think it's still between those four teams as of right now, and then you get, like I said, you have to take Spurs as a legitimate threat to win a title right now, in my opinion. I hate saying that as a North London rival,
yeah,
and with Eric in the chat, but it's one of those things where it's exciting. It makes it to where the sport, watching the sport's going to be a lot more fun. But for me, I as an Arsenal fan, I'm not getting my hopes up too much right now. Of course, because why would you? I mean, especially after last year, that was rough. Both my soccer clubs over in Europe both made me just want to die there for a little bit at the end of the year. It's just it was not good. So
yeah.
And now we're getting when the Spurs come marching in our freaking chat.
Yeah. Hey, you brought this upon yourself with saying they were.
No, okay, hold on a second. You said unbiased opinion, and I give unbiased opinions on in the feelings over facts. My feelings don't get in the way all the time, but
yeah, this is true. You did give your unbiased opinion. Very, very proud of you for that. Being a Gunners fan. So I think that this was honestly a really big deal that Arsenal were finally able to beat City, especially without their best player, because Saka didn't play in the game. So that's pretty huge because this has really been. I mean, we just talked about the Cowboys not being able to get over the 49ers hill of them just constantly beating them. This is kind of the same thing with Arsenal. Like, they were never really going to be considered the best team in the league if they were never able to beat City. Even if they won the league, people would still be considering City better than them if they were never able to beat them. So they finally were able to beat them. Last-minute heroics by Martinelli was a fantastic goal. And they were finally able to beat City that they've had on their bulletin board for so long. And I think that this was a huge win for them. And I think this momentum could spring them forward into being just as live to win the league as they were as they were last season. Now, the only real question mark is the injury situation with Arsenal. Saka's out right now. Martinelli was just out with a hamstring. So I think that's a lot of question marks around them. And you have other teams that are in great form right now, like you mentioned, with Liverpool and with Spurs. But at this current moment, I really do truly believe that this could potentially be Arsenal's year. I think that all of the signs are pointing towards them to win the league. I mean, I know there's a lot left. We still have 30 game weeks or something like that. It's like 5 months. No, longer than that.
They've played 8 games. We do have 30 games left, yes.
Oh, wow. I was spot on with that. But yeah, I think this could finally be Arsenal's year. Eric in the chat is saying, unbiased opinion, Spurs aren't a title contender. Post-Christmas City is different gravy. You think that's true? You think come the second half of the season, City just kicks it into gear and runs away with the league?
It is true because you have to take into effect the Kevin De Bruyne factor. He's not playing right now. Kevin De Bruyne would make this team so much better because he is world class. You can't say he's not, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
Like I feel like we're not focusing on that. Also, you want to say unbiased opinion, Martinelli's goal was a major deflection. Well, unbiased opinion, Spurs shouldn't have 3 points against Liverpool. It should have been draw. But sucks. So I could say the same thing about every other game though in FPL. So we'll let that one go. But unbiased opinion, just saying.
Replay the game.
Still asking.
One more message in the chat. Jake is saying, who won this trade? Foden and Bruno G. for Neto and Bilva.
Bernardo Silva.
The Bernardo Silva side?
I'm saying like that's who it is. I'm just saying it out loud for people that don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Foden
in
and Bruno G.
trades, especially in Premier League, I lean towards the side that got the better player. And I think that the best player in that trade would definitely be Foden. So I would certainly lean towards that.
He is class too. He just doesn't score all the time. Silva scores all the time for some reason.
From a fantasy perspective. Our Eric says City also had Rodri suspended, so kind of evens out. One of City's best players suspended, not in the game. Saka was one of Arsenal's best players not in the game, so that is a good point. That does even it out. All right. Anything left to say on the football, soccer perspective before we move on to our last topic?
No, I think we've covered it all.
All right, fair enough. All right. On to our last topic. The National Basketball Association, the NBA, is about to start here in just a few weeks. So, DJ, I wanted you and I to give our, before the season starts, predictions for MVP and finals matchup and who wins the finals. So that come April, whenever it's taking place, we can flex on everybody that we got it correct. Sound like a plan?
Oh yeah. You already know that people are going to hold receipts, and what I mean by hold receipts, I mean Rashad Moore.
This is very true. All right, you wanna go first? You want me to?
You go first.
Okay, I will start with
let's see how biased
MVP
you are going to be.
Prediction.
Let's see how biased you are.
How biased I'm going to be?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
We'll see.
I wasn't biased last year. My finals prediction was Philly, the 76ers against Phoenix, the Suns. And neither of those teams made it. So I was wrong on both accounts for them. So I was not biased. I did not pick LeBron's team to make it last year, if that's what you're saying.
Oh, I'm still waiting but where's the but? Yeah, it is. There it is. Where's the but? Tell me the but. Come on. You're doing it. I know you are.
The Lakers are making it.
Do it.
The Lakers are going to the finals this year. Dude, they're stacked. Honestly, their team is so much deeper this year than it was last year. And it was already kind of deep last year. I think, and then you've got AD, who is a no doubt top 10 player in the NBA. And you've got LeBron, who I think is still coming in. I mean, year 21. We're coming up on uncharted territory with LeBron James, with seeing how good he can be into this. He's going to turn 39 this season. I still think that he's going to be a top at least 15 player in the NBA. You've got Gabe Vincent that they brought in, who I think is going to be a fantastic piece. Christian Wood. I mean, they've really shored up their depth, and we're seeing in the NBA that depth is actually really huge, as Denver was one of the deepest teams last year. So I've got the Lakers coming out of the West. You can call me biased if you want, but I think it happens. And in the East, I've got Milwaukee. I mean, how can you not, honestly? I mean, I think that the fit of Dame with Giannis is going to be just absolutely perfect. Like their chemistry is going to be top notch. I think that we're going to see them bounce back. People are still forgetting that Chris Middleton is there. He's a fantastic, might be one of the best third players on a team in the NBA at this point. So,
it's Austin Reeves.
I've got Lakers. Hey, might be. I think he could flirt with averaging 20 points a game this season. I think LeBron is going to maybe take a little bit of a step back on the scoring side of things and be.
It's not LeBron's team really anymore. It's got to be AD's team. It has to be AD's team.
I mean, yes, if they are going to be a real title contender, as I think that they will be, it's because Anthony Davis is playing like an MVP candidate. He has to be on that level because LeBron isn't. He's not. He's way past his prime at this point. He's not that type of guy to carry a team anymore. Anthony Davis has to be elite for them to achieve that kind of heights, and I really think that he can be. So I've got Milwaukee versus LA Lakers in the finals, and I'll go ahead and give my MVP prediction as well, and you can go with yours. MVP, Luka Doncic. I think we see people were really flaming Luka for them not even making the playoffs last year. And I don't know if you've seen in the offseason, but Luka has dropped a lot of weight. He's looking in the best physical shape of his young career. And he is the type of dude who can 100% average a triple-double over the course of this season. I think that we're going to see a rejuvenated Luka, a very motivated Luka, and I think that he is the type of dude who can get the statistics and the fan love and the media love to win the MVP. So I've got Luka MVP, LA versus Milwaukee in the finals, and I've got the Bucks winning it.
Okay. So for I'll go MVP first. I'm going to say Giannis because I think he's going to get back to his MVP level with Dame. He's got help. He's got another superstar. Not saying that Chris Middleton's not good, but Dame's different sauce. You know, that guy's he's one of the best players in the NBA, in my opinion. That's just how I see it for me. I expect a lot out of Milwaukee going to the finals as well. So that's my Eastern Conference team to kind of ride with you. But I'm going to go Milwaukee versus Denver. Very good. And I think they can run it back.
Say that last point again. You cut out a bit.
I was going to say I think Denver makes it to the finals. So it's going to be Milwaukee and Denver in the NBA finals this year. That's my
Milwaukee and Denver. I'm
going boring, but I mean Denver. They play complete basketball. Okay, they play as a team. They feed off each other, and they have a superstar that helps pull it all together and get makes big plays at big times, which you need in the NBA. So I mean,
they looked pretty unstoppable at the end of last year.
They did.
Who you have winning it?
I think Denver gets their second title back to back.
The back-to-back. You think they're the type of – think Jokic is that dude who can go back-to-back?
Of course.
We haven't seen a back-to-back title since the KD Warriors, right? That's the last one.
I think that doesn't sound right.
I think it does sound right. I think that's the last back-to-back title we've seen is when the greatest team ever assembled. So
hold on.
Doesn't happen super often. And then before that was the back-to-back. Yeah, and then before that, I think the back-to-back was the Wade LeBron Heat, whenever they won it back-to-back. So then those are some of the greatest teams in NBA history. So if you're saying that the Nuggets can go back-to-back, that's high praise for them for sure.
I mean, I don't think it's far-fetched.
I'm not saying it's a ridiculous – no, it's definitely not a ridiculous take. They're a very, very good team. I think that they do take a little bit of a step back, though, this season. That might be a hot take. I don't know.
Shocker when your team's in the West.
I don't think we see Denver be – I mean, obviously they're going to be a good team. They're going to be a really good team. I just don't think that they are – I don't rank them up there with, like, this season with the Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, Suns. I think those are going to be the top 4 teams in the West. I think we could see Denver slide back to around 4 or 5 in the West, in my opinion. So there we go. Hold us to it. Hold the receipts. There's our preseason NBA predictions. DJ's going with Giannis MVP, Bucks versus Nuggets in the finals with the Nuggets repeating. I've got Luka MVP, Lakers versus Bucks in the finals with the Bucks taking it home. All right. That covers all of our segments for the week, DJ. We have now arrived to the most profitable segment in all of sports talk. The Feelings Over Facts bets of the week. Last week, I had another positive week, went 2-1. What did yours go?
I went, I think.
I want to say you went 2-1 as well.
No, I went 1-2.
1-2. I know you had the one that I got wrong was the one that was the Broncos. I had Broncos -2 against the Jets, and you took the Jets +2. So I know you got that one because that was the one we went against each other on, and you were right on that one.
But I got the other one wrong.
All right. So
the other 2 wrong, I guess, technically.
So we were even then last week.
Yeah, I missed
Still have yet to have a.
I missed the Texan one by half a point.
Yeah, that was a close game. That game was the Texans were looking good till the very end there. Whenever the Falcons got that late kick. All right, DJ, I'll go ahead and go first with my bets of the week. I am taking Seattle +3 versus the Bengals. I've seen some 2.5, some 3s. Either one. I like them both. I think that Seattle is legit. And people are hyping up some of these NFC teams like the Eagles, the 49ers, the Lions. And I think people are forgetting about Seattle. Seattle is a legit good football team. And I think that Joe Burrow is still not 100%. And I think that the Seattle team is going to really get after him. And I think that we could see them potentially win outright. But I'm taking Seattle +3. Next, I am doing Cleveland Browns +7 against San Francisco 49ers. People are saying that the 49ers defense is the best defense in the NFL. And if you look at the stats, it's actually Cleveland. Cleveland's defense is for real. This is a legit test for Brock Purdy. People were saying Dallas was last week. I think this is even a harder defense than that he's facing with the Cleveland Browns. and they're catching 7 points at home. I really like that. I don't know if they'll win, but I do like getting the 7 with them. And then we've got my last pick is Saints. Went all NFL on this week. Saints -1.5 versus the Texans. I think that we've yet to see CJ Stroud look like a rookie. He's been honestly fantastic. He's looked like he's set the record for most pass attempts without throwing an interception in an NFL career. So that's pretty awesome. But he's coming up against the best defense that he's faced so far this season in New Orleans. And I think that he is in for a rude awakening against Cam Jordan in that defense. And I've got the Saints -1.5. Those are my 3 picks. I'm feeling good about them. 3-0.
I hope so. You just made them. So I went 1 college and 2 NFL. My 1 college one is not really a sexy one, but I think it's going to happen. So we're going for wins here, you know. So I went Kansas -3 against Oklahoma State. I think they looked really good against UCF, and I couldn't believe that they were the underdog in that game. I was just like, have you seen Kansas play this year? Vegas? Like, all right. So yeah. I'm riding the Jayhawks again in football, not basketball. Shocking to say that. Then I'm going +4 for the Indianapolis Colts against the Jacksonville Jaguars, a AFC South matchup. And I don't know why, even with Anthony Richardson being out, I just don't think the Jags are that good this year. I think people are
the Gardner Minshew revenge game.
It could be. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think that they ride what they did against the Titans with the run game with Zach Moss, but then you give Jonathan Taylor more carries, and I think he's going to start taking over. And if that defense gets some of their players back healthy, I think that the sky's the limit for them right now. I think they're very confident, playing very, very well as a team. So I can see them covering +4 and not even getting the win, but I still see them, covering the +4. And then I'm going against the team. I'm going with the team that, for some reason, has won 2 bets for me this year. And I think they've got me twice on our bets of the week. So I'm going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers +3 against the Detroit Lions because for some reason this team just covers, and it's great.
Yeah, they've like low key been a very good team this year.
I think the only game that they haven't covered, if I'm not, I don't have the stat in front of me or like looking right now, but I know for sure the one game that they didn't cover was against the Eagles on Monday night.
The Eagles, yeah, that was a tough game for them.
That was tough, but I do definitely can see them. They're at home. Detroit's coming home. They're going to Tampa. Like I can see them. They're coming off their bye. They're gonna be ready to go. Had an extra week of preparation. This Lions team is very hot, so I can definitely see this being kind of like a struggle bus game for the Lions after a massive throbbing of the Carolina Panthers. So Tampa's just one of those teams that just seems to be doing really well this year, and I feel like no one really expected it. And it's not like Baker's playing like out of his mind. He's just taking care of the football and getting it to his dogs of receivers, that is Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and then letting that defense do their thing. That defense is still very good. So
yeah, he understands he doesn't really have to do much.
He does not. But those are my bets of the week.
Your 3 picks. I like it. I'm feeling good about this week, man.
I felt so good. I went ahead and made it a parlay.
Oh, there we go.
Because I'm in a big state.
Yeah, unlike me. All right, DJ, we are finally on to our feelings of the week. Let me hear yours. You go ahead and give me yours. Give me your feeling of the week first, man.
Feeling of the week. I'm not a huge fan of this new wild card baseball. First 2 seeds get a bye thing. I feel like we're seeing a lot of the negative of it with teams kind of coming out, like the Orioles getting swept after having the best record, but they had to take a couple of days off. And I feel like in baseball, repetition and staying in the groove. I think that's why you see the Diamondbacks playing so well. They have the chance to sweep to the Dodgers tonight. You saw the Orioles got swept. Best record in the AL didn't matter. You're going up against teams continuously played good baseball and riding that momentum into the next round and upsetting some really good teams in the in the division series. But you have to give. I will say that the Rangers have been kind of hot all year. The Orioles have never really been there with this group. It's a very young team. So it's not that surprising seeing them kind of struggle in the playoffs for the first time. First time being there, get some experience. They may be back next year or the year after that because, it's baseball. It's weird. You fluctuate so much. But that's my feeling of the week. I'm not a huge fan of it. I get why they're trying to do it. They're trying to make it, where, more teams can make a playoff push. But I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm game for anything that makes baseball more exciting. So, speaking of which, the Braves are absolutely throwing tonight. And not in a good way, like they're doing bad. they're down 6-1.
This is my shocked face. I had a feeling.
Yeah. All right, my feeling of the week before we go is I really think that the Panthers might not win a game this year. That is my feeling of the week. Bryce Young looks overwhelmed. Like he looks like he's having a tough time, which, when we see number one picks, especially quarterbacks in the NFL, their rookie season, they usually don't do super well, but at least they flash for some moments and show a little bit of potential. But geez, man, he looks like he's having a tough time. And I don't know if it's just because this roster is absolutely atrocious and he doesn't have any good weapons to throw to. And their offensive scheming honestly hasn't been the best either, but he is struggling. Their team is struggling in general. And I think that there's a very good chance that they might not win a game. That is my feeling of the week. So
it's still early. He could still have some flashes of what made him a number one pick. So
definitely.
He just threw a lot of interceptions last week. I don't think he played besides the interceptions, his statistically he's still all right. But you got to take care of the football in the NFL. Have to.
Oh, for sure. That's the most important thing. All right, DJ. Thank you, everyone who joined us in the chat for our first ever live streamed episode. We will be back again next week. Don't forget to subscribe to these YouTube channel. Go follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you for joining us. Have a good morning and good night.
Peace.